The sun was sinking behind the crimson ridges of Arizona, painting the sky in strokes of amber and rose. Dust hung in the air, catching the dying light like golden mist. Old rancher Caleb Turner leaned against the porch railing of his weathered cabin, watching his cattle drift lazily across the open field. His beard had gone silver, and his hands were calloused from a lifetime of work, but his eyes, still sharp, still kind, carried memories deeper than the canyon that cut through his land. 15 years. That's how long it had been since he'd seen them, the two Apache sisters, Ayanna and Tala. He had found them as children, hiding in the ruins of a burned-out village. Their parents had been lost in the skirmishes between settlers and tribes. Caleb, a younger man then, had taken them in when everyone else turned their backs. He'd taught them how to ride, how to rope cattle, how to survive. They had been his only family. But when they grew older, proud of their heritage and torn by identity, they left, back to the Apache Hills. He never blamed them. He just missed them. Now, 15 years later, as the evening wind whispered across the plains, Caleb felt a strange pull in his chest. Something was coming. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was memory. Or maybe, just maybe, it was fate circling back like a hawk over the desert. He turned when he heard it, a faint rumble in the distance. Hoofbeats. Two horses, fast and strong, kicking up dust trails as they neared. Caleb squinted through the sunlight. His breath caught. Two riders, cloaked in travel dust, galloping straight toward his ranch. He didn't move at first, he just watched. When the riders drew near, they slowed, and the setting sun caught their faces. He froze. Ayanna. Tala. The same eyes. The same fire. The same unbreakable spirit he remembered from years ago, now shining through the faces of grown women. Caleb's heart pounded. He stepped forward, his voice rough with disbelief. Ayanna, Tala. That can't be. Ayanna dismounted first, her long dark hair catching the light. Her expression was soft but burdened by years of travel. It's us, Caleb, she said, her voice trembling between strength and tears. We've come home. Home. That one word struck deeper than any bullet ever could. Tala climbed down next, quieter than her sister, but her eyes shimmered with emotion. She looked around the ranch, the porch, the corral, the old oak tree by the barn, and for a moment, she smiled through tears. Nothing's changed, she whispered. Not even the smell of the hay. Caleb's throat tightened. I can't believe it. 15 years, and you just show up out of nowhere. What in God's name brings you back? Ayanna looked at Tala, then back at him. We came because of you, Caleb. And because of what's coming. That night, after dinner, the three sat around the fire in silence. The flames cracked, casting shadows on the log walls. The old clock ticked. Outside, the coyotes sang in the distance. Caleb leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You'd better start talking. What's this all about? Tala reached into her leather satchel and pulled out an old, folded map. It looked worn, almost ancient. She spread it on the table. Our father, before he died, he left something behind. Something he said was meant for you, Caleb. For me. Caleb frowned. I never even met your father. You did, Ayanna said softly. You just didn't know it. And then she told him. The truth that had been buried for 15 years. Their father wasn't just an Apache warrior, he was once Caleb's closest friend, a man named Chaska, who'd fought alongside him before the war divided them. Caleb had thought Chaska died in battle. But before his death, Chaska had hidden something, a secret buried in the hills beyond the ranch. Something powerful enough to change everything. The air grew thick. The fire popped. Caleb's heart raced as the weight of it settled in. What kind of secret? He asked. Ayanna's eyes glimmered. Something that could end the war between our people and yours, or start it all over again. Caleb leaned back, staring at the map. And you came all this way to bring this to me. Why now? Because they're coming for it, Tala said. Men who know what it's worth. We were followed. Caleb stood instantly, his hand moving to his revolver. Who? Ayanna met his eyes. Ranchers. Soldiers. Maybe even bounty hunters. We don't know. But they'll be here soon. The old rancher paced the floor, thinking fast. He'd seen enough trouble in his years to know this wasn't just talk. He looked at the sisters, the girls he'd raised, now women standing tall in front of him, fearless yet afraid of what hunted them. Then we'll be ready, he said finally. If they want to fight, they'll find the Turners don't scare easy. Tala smiled faintly. You never did. They spent the next day preparing. Fixing the fences. Sharpening tools. Checking the rifles. The bond between them rekindled like the fire in the forge. Old memories returned, Caleb teaching them to ride, Ayana racing across the field laughing, Tala learning to shoot tin cans from the fence post. They were children again for a brief, precious time. But by nightfall, the storm rolled in. The sky turned black, lightning flashing across the plains. And in the distance, through the rain and wind, came the faint echo of hooves. Ayana's voice trembled. They've found us. Caleb blew out the lantern. Then let's welcome them to the ranch. Caleb blew out the lantern. Then let's welcome them to the ranch. The rain poured as shadows moved through the field, figures on horseback, rifles glinting in the stormlight. Caleb crouched by the window, heart steady, eyes focused. The sisters stood beside him, each gripping their weapons with quiet determination. The wind howled, thunder cracked, and in that stormy darkness, 3 souls prepared to face a past that refused to stay buried. Outside, a voice shouted, Turner. We know you've got the Apache girls. Hand them over, and maybe we'll let you live. Caleb's jaw tightened. He looked at the sisters, then stepped into the doorway, the lightning flashing behind him. You'll have to come through me first. The night exploded into chaos, gunfire, lightning, rain, and fury. Caleb fought like a man half his age, protecting the only family he'd ever known. Ayana and Tala moved like spirits of the storm, brave and fierce. Together, they drove the attackers off into the darkness. When it was over, the ranch was quiet again. Smoke rose from spent gun barrels. Rain washed away the blood. And as dawn broke, the 3 of them stood together beneath the rising sun, tired, battered, but unbroken. Caleb looked at them, pride glistening in his eyes. You girls did your father proud. And you did me proud too. Ayana smiled. We didn't come here just to fight, Caleb. We came to stay. This ranch, it's home. For the first time in years, Caleb felt peace. The kind of peace that comes not from solitude, but from family, chosen, not born. The prairie wind carried their laughter across the hills, blending with the cry of eagles above. And as the sun rose higher, Caleb leaned on the fence post, watching the land he loved and the people who made it worth living for. Life had come full circle, and he knew that some stories don't end, they just begin again. Every bond forged in kindness echoes through time. Caleb once saved 2 lost souls, and years later, they returned to save him. Sometimes, the love you give the world finds its way back to you, stronger, purer, eternal. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon for more powerful Western stories filled with courage, loyalty, and redemption. Every click helps bring more forgotten tales back to life.